All right, welcome to the Shadows over Innistrad pre-release at Gamers Vault. So we have a few decks for the two-headed giant that's going to be played. This one's mine. It's the Celestia human deck. And over here, we got my co-host, Nick.
Hello. So yeah, right there, I'm kind of like, yeah, there you go with my hands. I'm displaying my red-black vampire / madness deck that I brewed up for the pre-release. Felt pretty nice when I opened my sealed pool. Looked pretty madnessy. A lot of discard outlets and a lot of cards with madness printed on it.
All right, awesome. Let's get right into it. Okay, so this is me and Nick against Will and Jamie. So this is going to be the last round for the two-headed giant event, and so far our hands were pretty decent. They pretty much were hogging the entire first table the whole time.
Yeah, I think this was my mulligan to 6. I think I saw only 6 cards in my hand. I kind of reluctantly kept it, if I remember correctly. You were pointing at cards that weren't too bad, but yeah, see, I'm kind of like raging. I'm like, I hate magic, man. So yeah.
I think my hand was pretty decent, though. I thought it was strong enough for you to keep an okay hand.
I'm pretty sure you kept your first 7 right off the bat, so that's always good.
I don't even remember. I'm sure it was great. I mean, if I made the deck.
If I remember correctly, me and Will mulliganed a bunch, and you and Jamie kept right ahead. So if that's my memory.
All right, awesome. So hopefully, we get to see. Okay, we got to see Jamie's hand right off the bat.
If you could pause the video real quick, you can see the contents. That was kind of quick.
Yeah. Our kind of strategies we're really avid Modern players, so I felt that the decks we made were kind of very constructed. We splashed a little bit of control in each deck, but a lot of aggro. While I think their strategy was Will was the supporter with the blue, and he had Jace in his deck.
Exactly, yeah.
And all of the great, like, big butt blockers, and Jamie was just full aggro.
Yeah, so from their strategy, they really told us it was just like, don't die and then draw Jace. So here we go, turn 1 from me and Ariel. Each drop a land and then we pass. Our opponents drop a land, and then Jamie's being a butthead, faking a 1-drop red, but no. And then I drop the Heir of Falconwrath. It's that amazing flip card that becomes a kind of Delver secret if you discard a card. So for 2 mana and you discard a card, not as good, but you know, we do what we can. So yeah, it turns into a 3/2 flyer when you discard for those who are not initiated to Delver.
And I put down the Militia Captain, which in hindsight isn't a great drop, but like maybe we'll get their removal out early.
So we see second land from our opponent. Nobody's missing land drops. That's a good sign. We want a good game.
What is this? Oh, it's the 2/1 flyer that can give itself haste.
Or any other vampires.
Or any other vamps.
Though it can't block.
Yeah.
And then we have the second color for Will. There you go. I think they're passing the turn.
And I'm just so excited to draw my next card.
Can't wait.
There it is. So if you don't know what the Militia Captain does, when you have 4 more creatures, he flips into a star creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get a cleric, and he has power toughness equal to the number of creatures you control.
I believe he flips on upkeep, though, right? It's not like instantly.
Yeah.
So there you see me discarding a mountain to flip my Heir of Falconwrath. Becomes a 3/2 flying with no ability. A great flavor text on there, though.
So fantastic.
And then I think that's the Duskwatch Recruiter from Ariel. Really good card. People are expecting it to do really good in Constructed as well. It's a 2-mana 2/2. For 3 mana, you can look at the top 3 cards and pick a creature from there of your deck, and then put the rest on the bottom. You have to reveal a creature. And then it's a werewolf, so if no spells were cast in a turn, it flips over into a 3/3, and he has the ability of making your other creatures cost 1 colorless less. So very, very powerful for 2 mana.
Yeah, of course, it was really played in one of the top decks. The winning deck, actually, was a Bant Coco. I'm pretty sure it was actually played 3 to 4 copies. It's not as strong as the Coco into Reflector Mage, but it's still pretty great for reducing the cost.
It's also in the deck, so you have all those crazy options just stacking up. And then I drop the Breakneck Rider, one of my favorite cards for the new set. 3 mana 3/3. Werewolf ability, so if no spells were cast, flips. When it flips over, it becomes a 4/3 Trampler, and when it attacks, it gives other attacking creatures +1/+0 and trample. Just turns your whole board into a bunch of just murder machines. Crazy. Also love the flavor on the card. Really cool. The guy riding the wolf is running away, but then he can't run away from what he is, and he turns into a werewolf and kills his own horse. Poor horsey.
Yeah, he's the pony.
Poor
delicious pony. So right now, we seem like we have a pretty good board. We're like, oh, we're confident in our ability to win against them.
One of your main flip guy got hit by the removal spell, but we don't really mind. All of your creatures are kind of equal in the humans deck, but except for Thalia's captain, which is kind of like the big boy. I think we had 2 in this deck.
Yeah, I pulled the promo and you pulled
a normal
one.
Yeah, we both had one, so we were kind of hoping to leverage those. I don't remember if we drew any in this game.
I don't recall.
I don't think so.
But I think I was pretty upset if I didn't get any.
Yup. So they're reading our cards, so we're like, rip cards might be removed. Who knows? Jamie's like, what is this? Reads the breaker of necks.
He's on the other side, he's a 4/3.
Exactly. Yeah. 4/3. I don't know if he has trample himself. I think so. I'm not sure.
I would imagine if he's on a pony.
Well, he eats it on the other side.
Pony.
Yeah, I know.
He probably...
And he doesn't have trample on the side with the pony.
It actually would be really funny if he had trample on the side of the pony, and then he loses it on the other side, like he gets haste. Because if they come into play with the other guy, and then they get flipped, and then they could actually attack
bandit,
right away.
The Gaia Reach bandit. Yeah, I don't know. That would be jank.
It would be so jank.
The card
Everyone
is already
would read
good.
it, and then
the only downside to this
up.
card is it costs double red.
Oh yeah, the double red is
all right, so our opponents are tapping mana. I think something got bounced. I think Will played a blue spell while we were yapping.
Oh, he just he played a draw spell.
Oh, okay.
That's mediocre at best, but it's good for his
cycling
deck.
spell. And then Jamie is dropping some other. I think that was the rat. Yeah, I think that's the super annoying Skulk Death Touch rat.
Yep.
Mostly just a 2-mana 1/1 Death Touch is really annoying. Skulk like rarely comes into play for this card because why would you block it with a bigger guy? I don't know. It's just you get it on for free because usually like your Typhoid Rats type of card usually costs that 2 mana for a 1/1 Death Touch, but so it's kind of like the Skulks is free on there, but it seems very not useful.
Well, it's not bad if they have a bunch of creatures and then they're afraid to swing into your rat and then they play super hard.
But that's already, like the Death Touch does that. What I'm saying is Skulk doesn't have that much. I just like hating on that card because it's super annoying. So we're just like, you have Death Touch, we can't do anything. So we hit for 1 in the air.
Well, it's a threat, right? So you swing with it, and they're like, "I'm not gonna block," but maybe you could pump it, so it will get skulked in, and they won't want to block it with the smaller thing, and then you could pump it to smithereens.
But it doesn't. It already does that with Death Touch, right? Skulk prevents bigger than you creatures from blocking you, which Death Touch already does, basically.
But it's super sad if you have to trade with something that's just so tiny, and then you're like, "Well, this didn't get the effect that I wanted."
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, Skulk doesn't add that much on this particular card.
Of course not.
Yeah.
But
so
it has its uses.
I think our game plan here was kind of like sitting back, hoping to build a board, hoping to flip Breakneck Man, and then just like swing in alpha style. I'm expecting against a deck that just plays a bunch of Death Touchers and removal that it's not gonna work.
Oh yeah, Jamie goobed all over my card.
Ugh.
I was all like, "What's happening?"
That's like a $3 uncommon, $2 uncommon. I don't
Damn.
know. Some.
Yeah, and that's just a Will hoping to draw Jace as soon as possible.
Yeah.
They were real spooky.
So I think I'm talking with Ariel here, about not playing any spells. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, because you wanted to flip your
penny? I wanted to flip Breakneck Raider.
And I had a werewolf as well, so I could also not play
exactly.
any spells.
And you wanted to make your creatures cheaper because I don't know. I think you missed a land drop, but then we get hit with a lightning axe, and that's sad. He's discarded some red card. That's not a madness card. Shame on him. And then we pass turn. So since they played a spell during our turn, no flip for Duskwatch Watcher, and Breakneck Rider obviously is dead, so, can't flip in the graveyard. Not much point to it.
Nice. I think in my hand, I had a removal spell, so I was like, I don't mind not playing any spells in case I needed to remove something.
Exactly.
It was the Angelic Purge, I believe?
Oh, and then you see me reading an enchantment that I also had in my deck. I don't remember the exact name, but it's a 3-mana enchantment, 2 in a red, with same cost for Madness. It gives your attacking creatures first strike, and it also gives your vampire the old curse ability, where you hit a player, you get a +1/+1 counter. So all those vampires, they're both. Only the vampire, the 2/1 is attacking. Hit us because the flyer, my flyer is tapped, gets a counter. So it's not a 3/2 flyer. It's the same as my Falcon Wrath vampire. And then we have Silent Observer from Will. That pesky 1/5 flyer.
That just makes your Falcon Wrath just cry a bit.
Yeah, so they're just like gumming up everything. It's just really bad. Like all of a sudden it's looking super bad for us. We don't have any offense, and then they have this 3/2 first strike flyer that gets bigger. So it's just like, what do we do?
You had to draw the other Masquerade. It's called Masquerade of something or other.
Yes, Masquerade of blood, something like that. Maybe.
That's exactly it. I'm sure. I'm sure there's enough room. I can kind of see his hand. Yeah, he's gonna play the vampire, which targets something, and then that can't block.
The duelist, I think it's the Falcon Wrath duelist or Stormkirk duelist. Yeah, one of those. So in my hand, I have one of those. I have the Incorrigible Youth, the 4/3 hasters that you can madness for 3. So what I'm doing right now is actually another play. I'm doing Tormented Voice. So as an additional cost, you discard a card. So I'm discarding something Rage. Sorry, I forget the names. So it's a +2/+2 on a creature for 2 mana, but you can also madness it for that same cost. So I'm kind of getting free cards, quote unquote. I'm getting card advantage by casting a card I would have normally just lost by discarding. So I cast Tormenting Voice. That's 1 card down. I discard a card, so I'm supposed to be 2 cards down and draw 2 cards. But instead, that one discarded card is cast, so I kind of use 1 card to draw 2 cards. So it was pretty good. So now my vampire is big enough to either block Jamie's vampire or just get in there for 5. So I decided to be on the offensive because we can't win this long game, I think.
And what did I decide to put down? Oh, I decided to put down the 3/2 so I could potentially block the flyer later, block something on the ground, have her die, and then return with the spirit token to block the increasingly fat flyer that they have.
Yeah.
Getting real spooked. And I think the other thing I put down was an equipment.
Yeah, I think it's the True Faith Sensor. I think it's the
it gives it
name.
Vigilance and if it's a human, and then +1/+1.
Yeah, it gives +1/+1 Vigilance, and then if it's a human, an additional +1/+0.
Oh.
So it ends up giving +2/+1
booty?
to a human and always Vigilance. So it can be good on non-humans as well. So on your werewolves, if they flip, they still get +1/+1 Vigilance.
Yeah.
And because they grow, you don't really mind losing that attack. So here we see by Jamie, I think that's a compulsion for murder or something like that. Kill a tap creature with madness for same cost. So it's a 2 mana. So because I got aggressive with my vampire, he got to just kill it outright. So we're getting punished left, right, and center here. So he 2-for-1'd me there because I had an enchanted creature, but that enchantment was kind of free, so it doesn't hurt too much on the card side. It's just I have no board now, and I'm supposed to be an aggressive deck. So yeah. I'm kind of letting Ariel down here, and I draw my 5-drop. So I'm like,
is this the Devastation? Is this the Devastation Station?
Yeah, I think so.
So he's gonna cast this.
Yeah, the Markov Blood Knight. It's a 5 mana 3/3 flyer. Not impressive for the stats, but you can pay 3 mana and discard a card to put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. So it's kind of like an investment. But there we get hit with the oh boy.
So upsetting.
That rare 5 mana counter spell.
When he gets to investigate. So this is when he gets some really relevant card advantage because he got 3 clue tokens. And I'm just there upset. I put down the Scarecrow to hopefully get the menace on one of my humans. The cool thing about the Duskwatch Recruiter is that it's a human when it's not flipped, and it has a great ability. So I don't really care too much about it flipping because the reducing of the cost isn't so relevant if everything is less than 3.
It's more of a constructed thing, really flipping him over and then unleashing your hand. In limited, it's kind of about the value game more. Yeah. So here the plan for Ariel is to kind of do that battleship magic, that good old Theros limited strategy of putting a bunch of cards on top of another card and trying to win.
Yeah.
So hopefully eventually that Scarecrow dies, becomes an equipment. We can equip that on the same creature as the sensor and try to squeak out a win here with Menace trying to get past that 1/5 and all that other stuff. So yeah, but getting hit with that devastating constructed unplayable counterspell just really hit my feelings and my pride there.
Yeah, he finally top decked something great and it got thrown into the graveyard. It's okay. I think you still have the Incorrigible Youths in your hand. And one of those Great Mountain cards.
Yes, always got my mountain.
Very threatening. He thinks It's gonna be a lightning bolt. It's gonna be good.
Totes a lightning bolt in this format. I mean,
or just fire temper.
I did have a fiery temper, but it's like the whole problem in this game has been that I didn't have any of my like on-demand discard outlets. I didn't have my Murderer's Axe or the Markov Knight. He just got killed. So I can't really kind of abuse my madness cards. I didn't end up drawing that many of them either. Next turn I'm gonna play the Incorrigible Youth, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just gonna be really salty about paying 5 instead of 3 for it, since I'm just like unable to discard my card. So it's just like not my day really.
Yeah. And I'm having a hard time attacking just because that 1/5 it just will
the
do
1/5
literally
and the
nothing.
Death Touch is just like.
Yeah, like what is it? I think he's going to make it so my fatty can't block.
Yeah, so here's that duelist that we were talking about.
Oh yeah, I think this is when they actually made a small misplay because they took it so my Dauntless can't block.
Dauntless Cathar, yeah. So
so I blocked with the Scarecrow so I can get the artifact.
Actually, they're thinking about it. I think they end up naming the Scarecrow.
I think they didn't remember what was on the other side.
I think we were telling them like right now at this instant.
Yeah, like I think we were messing with them though. We were like, oh yeah, the Scarecrow, and then they're like, no, it's the Dauntless Cathar. So let's see this. Oh, he bounces the.
Yeah, I think they end up targeting the Scarecrow and bouncing the Cathar, and this is just like the spiral into us being
super sad.
0 HP and
freaking Jace,
not the W guys.
Told me to go home.
So that guy that we want to die and fight and stuff just ends up in Ariel's hand, and then we have a Jace with some, undeterminate number of loyalty counters. Sorry for that. We were kind of running short on dice at the table.
Yeah, so I discarded my Dauntless Cathar to get her into my graveyard so we can get that flyer going maybe in the future, and then I tapped down one of the fatties. So
what did you discard it to, though?
The Dauntless Cathar. The duder with the ting ability. You have to discard a card to tap a creature?
Oh yeah, you have the constable. I didn't see him.
Disciplinarian.
Yeah. It's hard to see him from afar because he has kind of a muted art. Very cool card though. Yeah. Oh, this is one of the greatest pieces of removal. Great piece of removal for limited. You 3 mana, you sacrifice a permanent, and then it exiles a creature. So it's great for those pesky creatures with like when in the graveyard effect, such as the Dauntless Cathar. There's also the I don't know if it's the Bishop or something. It's a 3/1 lifelink, and he has that same ability to exile himself from graveyard, but he makes 2 spirits, so very, very potent, like grinding ability. So here we have that Scarecrow flipping into that Scythe.
So I ended up sacking that, and then I played my Dauntless Cathar that I drew that turn.
In the meantime, I very lazily flopped my Incorrigible Youth with haste that doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
See, I'm like, how much loyalty?
How big are they in the face? Are they 5?
The youths?
Yeah.
No, it's a 4/3. Doesn't get past that observer. Just like very.
Yeah, so like maybe you could have, if it was like a 5/3, you could have swung at Jace at least, and then they would have.
Oh, I would have been
blocked.
up in there. I mean, I would have just run into a Death Touch rat and cried, but still.
That's true.
Too bad you can't equip the Scythe to them. That would have been the combo. The fusion. The fusion dance put the Scythe on my creatures. Wizard, fix that.
Wizards plus. Wizards don't do it.
Why don't you put auras on my things, Ariel? Plus help.
You can do that.
Yeah, like they're doing right now.
Yeah, you just can't equip your equipments to.
So now this duelist that has a +1 counter because he ended up hitting us because of the enchantment and getting a +1 counter. He now has another +1/+1 and flies. So he's a 5/3, 5/4 flyer. With first strike when he attacks because of the enchantment, and if he hits us, he gets bigger. So it's fun times.
So I'm like, I really need that spirit immediately.
Jamie's holding up that fiery temper as well. So just like everything looks really bad. I don't know if he goes for it right away.
And he pops my.
Oh yeah, he goes for the Tooth Collector.
The Disciplinarian. Yeah, he slaps down the Tooth Collector and gets rid
gives
of
him -1 until end of turn.
My human. Humans no.
Stop disciplining.
Oh, and that Jace is just getting pumping up the jam.
Yeah. I think they're like so comfortable now that they're just drawing a card. Yeah. Jamie's like, put it back in the hand, but Will doesn't care. He's like, I got a 1/5.
Like,
what are you on? What are you high about?
I mean, he could have put something back in our hands. He had a million clues anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what he has in his hand.
But putting back in hand goes down on his loyalty. So I think he was trying to play it safe to keep Jace because they're like, oh, if we keep Jace for another 2 turns, we can't lose. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's true. If they dropped it down and you had Fiery Temper, it would.
And they have that insane offense with the Duelist in the air, just like he's having a whale of a time just flying around.
He's gonna play a Homunculus, and then we're like GG and we scoop.
Yeah, I think this turn or the next turn.
Something like that. It's funny though. We played against another couple that also came to the 2-headed giant. What is it? Karen and Alex.
Yeah, I think this was us scooping when I do the good old no card free Ancestral Recall. I just look at top 3 cards and put them in my hand. So yeah, I was just like, nope, we're dead. And then I looked at the top 3 lands. I'm pretty sure maybe there was a Fiery Temper I can see in there. Yeah. Definitely a mountain and a swamp. So that's gonna be it for us in this match. We decided that we were done. I think we were at already fairly low life, about in the 10s at this point maximum. So. Oh, maybe I think we were talking early here. I think this is in a couple of turns. Because you're making a spirit, so I think I already had some cards in my hand, and I just drew 1.
But it's possible that, I think he's going to bounce the spirit. I think that's what happens.
Yeah, he bounces the spirit, and we're just like, oh, this is not happening. But yeah, we were a bit ahead of ourselves there, saying we scooped already, so no. We're going to play out another turn, I think. We usually don't like scooping too much. But next turn, I think the board state becomes just impossible to surmount. I think you're going to equip something,
yeah,
and it just ends up that Jace is just like lol equipments, and he just bounces whatever's equipped. So I think we realize that we can't do anything at this point.
Or maybe I should have really took advantage of that Desk Watcher's ability. So I was kind of not drawing super well, but I knew I couldn't get any removal if I ended up doing that.
You use most of your mana, so it's not like you just like wasted it or whatever. Yeah. So here I think we have an attack with the Dauntless, and they're just deciding to block with the 2 creatures to get rid of it, since it has that menace with the Scythe, the flipped Scarecrow. Mm-hmm. So here we're like, sure, and then we're just diminishing our resources, which is what they want, and then the less creatures we have, the more easy it is for them to control. So anything that doesn't have 5 attack doesn't really matter, since of the Observer. So it's just a downhill spiral from there, really.
Right, I don't know what you have in your hand at the moment.
If I remember correctly, like I said earlier, I have those 2 lands and then some sort of red spell that might or might not have power and toughness. So
cool story. We both ran 16 lands just so this wouldn't happen. Yeah, and it happened fairly often.
I mean, we both have fairly aggressive curves. Mine only had 1 true 5-drop in the Markov Dread Knight. My second 5-drop had a Madness ability of 3, so I should in theory have been able to play for less. Oh no, I also had the Incorrigible Youth for 5, but again Madness of 3. So it's just a deck full of discounts that just didn't happen, synergies that kind of fell in their faces, and your deck is more like a critical mass. You just need guys, and they didn't let us have those guys. So.
Well, I couldn't run into anything. I was hoping that because of the control cards you would put in your deck, that you kind of would be able to control the field and then have my guys go through. But because of the fact you weren't drawing them, because too busy drawing them lands. Well,
it's also that they didn't let you have 6 creatures at a time, right?
But that's never fine. Kind of if happened. You had like 1 devastating creature with all my equipments, like it's fine to like beat in for 4 or 5 every turn with Menace.
Yeah.
But the 2/1/5s, I'm just like. Yeah, I think this is.
So Jace is scrying and drawing again. I think he cracked a clue looking at another card. We get hit for another 6 in the air now, or 5, and then it's now at 6 power, I think. Yeah. So we're just seeing the writing on the wall.
Yeah, I play my heirloom because it costs 1. And
we take a couple of other turns now here, so
I'm like,
I feel bad
sure
calling it early. I guess I knew the outcome of the game, so I was just like, as soon as it looks bad.
Yeah, but we only have 1
I think
round,
that was my second Tormenting Voice. Pitching some unknown card. Sorry for the glare. It's only really in my graveyard, sadly. We did a pretty good job. Dan did a pretty good job of having a nice angle that we could see all the cards.
The fisheye lens?
Yeah, I mean, that's the price you pay to have that great view. So.
Yeah, we wanted the 2 mats.
2-headed, it's wide. So there I played the Markov Mentor, I think. A lot of Markovs, a lot of Falcon Wraths.
It's a nice band.
Not that many Stormkirks. And what's the 4th house again?
Voldaren.
Voldaren, yeah. Like 0 Voldaren in this set. I think they're all dead. Nahiri, why?
Hey.
Why you do this?
Hey, Olivia's still alive, and she's prepped for the.
Oh yeah, she's
the
super
fighting.
pissed.
She's so salty.
Anyway, the Markov mentor, he's kind of a shitter, really. He's a 4-mana 4/2 that gives another vampire a +1/+1 counter. So yeah, there I played the mentor to give the youth +1/+1 counter, so I could at least swing into the silent observer. There's 2 of them now, by the way. But then one of the silent observer gets like that. I think it's like inquisitive something or whatever. It's a flash enchantment that gives +3/+0 and first strike. So he just gets me there. He just eats my creature, which feels really bad. And now those observers, Ariel, I don't know if you read the card. Do they have a defender on them?
Observer?
Yeah, the silent observer.
Which one is that one?
It's that 1/5 that's been blocking us the whole time.
No, they don't have defender.
Exactly. So now it's a 4/5 flyer.
Yep.
Oh, on top of that, that duelist. He's still around, by the way.
Yeah.
That like 6/5
Yeah,
duelist.
and he gets rid of my spirit that I got last turn.
Bounces the spirit, and then they go in the air for like 11, and then another like 4 on the ground or something ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think,
or even 12 in the air, because
GG.
that second observer is getting you for that cheeky 1 point of damage.
Yeah.
So I think this is where I like draw 8 cards in a row, and I'm just like, all right, we have lost. I think we're getting some final combat math to see how much overkill we're taking.
But yeah, that enchantment, the Masquerade enchantment.
Oh,
is
so
just
good. I wish I
devastating.
had it. I wish I drew it. I had one in my deck. Would have been, yeah, again, really devastating if with a series of like, turn 2 Arrow Falcon Wrath into turn 3 another creature, turn 4 you drop that and maybe Fiery Temper something to some ability or whatever, like anything, just like even just the enchantment is just devastating. Just turns you on your offensive and it just keeps it on for the rest of the game. Any dorky creature becomes crazy, right? Because it gives you that first strike, so no one cares about the little rat, right? You just first strike him, or that mentor 2 toughness. What is that? You just first strike him, which is like those humans first strike them.
Yeah.
Just like.
And it's kind of cute too because I think the flavor was like, oh, you're at a masquerade party now, so they have like a little mascot,
Yeah.
so you don't know they're gonna fight you, and then they get first strike because they surprise you. They're like, haha.
Yeah. Well, also I think the vampires are very versed in the social arts, so they're kind of like they get that first strike on you, right? They know when to jump out. So.
And I think they're interrupting a human party.
I think
in
so.
The
I think
artwork.
they're crashing a party.
They reveal
yeah.
their fangs. Yeah. Oh, so you play the 2/1 fly that can't block.
Yeah.
Yay!
Timely reinforcements. Shout out to timely reinforcements. My least favorite card ever.
It's aight.
I give you a little context. I play aggressive decks in Modern, so it's just like I'm gonna gain life and get some blockers. I'm just like no. So yeah, there's a lot of pointing, a lot of like we're trying to put it together, but you see I'm putting my lands together. I'm like
Just gonna put
doing
this...
the battle. All right, and there it is.
The GG.
That good
just
old
the, like,
scoopity
I
poopity.
don't. Yeah, we played our turn to see if we could get anything going, but really we drew nothing that would.
And then
really...
I was like, look at all these non-lands left in my deck. Oh look, there's these great cards that you played against me, Jamie. You asshole.
He's like devil token. And he's all like, but really the Jace is.
The Jace man has a strong back. See right there, I reveal that Masquerade, that Duelist. I'm basically saying like we have like a 60% mirror from me and Jamie's deck. So.
Yeah. But I really find like the supporter blue Will was.
Yeah, it was just GG. Those Sign Observer, they were like 4 mana, I think.
I believe so, yeah.
You think it's ass, but there's so much aggression in this that it's just like yes.
You have more base life and you have time.
Yeah.
You just have time to get there.
And the kind of like tapper guy in the set, the constable, he kind of like doesn't do what a tapper does in a usual long game. He doesn't just like keep getting in there and being annoying because you have to discard. So eventually, like you can't afford him. So he really only comes in kind of like those clutch moments a couple of times, or you even waste his ability on something you think is important, and then it ends up you just like, get devastated by the next creature that gets played. So.
It's madness fuel, right? So it's
Yeah.
whatever we can get going that would work.
Yep. So,
all right. Well, that was the Shadows over Innistrad Two-Headed Giant final table. We're probably gonna go into some commentary now from the winners.
Pre-release 2HG, top table, round 3 winners.
Hey guys.
So, what can we say about this time?
Same thing as every other game.
Jace still pretty good.
Yeah, it was just Ariel had a bunch of equipments. She had a god at any given time, but Jace just told it to go home.
Yeah, pretty much. And they had to keep recasting it, and then when there wasn't anything good to bounce, they just started drawing cards.
Draw one, go home. Oh my god.
So besides Jace, are there any other combos that...
we abused the Twitter giant strats, kind of. Like, I kept enchanting his stuff.
Yeah, I kept putting auras on his things. Like, putting this thing on one of my guys seems pretty bad, but on his creatures that are very aggressive,
Build the
getting a
dice.
4/4 rating is pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's an okay card. I wouldn't really...
So an aggressive deck with some major support from Jace did the trick.
Yes, pretty much.
All right.
A lot of clues going on, too.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, guys. Congratulations on your win. And Shadows over Innistrad pre-release at Gamers Vault. Have a nice one. 3. So these are the unfortunate losers to the... in round 3, top table of Shadows over Innistrad 2HG. Comments? How did you guys do? What was your top decking pulls?
Well, first of all, I kind of I lost my supporter kind of halfway through the game.
Yeah.
He just started drawing lands
Drawing
over and
all
over.
the land.
It was pretty much just luck-based at that point.
Even through Tormenting Voice, got some draws and then more lands.
Yeah.
Cheerleading with lands?
Yeah, exactly.
And was it the Flyers really were no
Yeah.
fun?
Well,
Because
they
I had
had-
only humans,
yeah.
they're all on the ground, and he wasn't pulling the flying
They
vampires.
had the enchantment that gives all their attackers first strike, and their vampires gain counters when they hit us, and they had their threats that kept growing, and I didn't draw my removal, which I don't have a lot, but
Yeah.
and we just got overwhelmed. So.
Yeah, it was a great game though. I thought Jamie's deck was pretty much the carry.
Yeah.
And the little supporter Will, fantastic with the Jace.
Jace
and
wasn't
the,
bad. It just
the
bounced
1/5
a couple
flyings,
of creatures.
Yeah,
And the stupid
pretty great.
whatever, like creepy guys in the windows.
You want to tell us about?
You guys are real good.
Yeah, you want to tell us about your builds or your top picks in your decks?
Sure. In my deck, it was a Celestia-colored human deck. So pretty much the dream was to have the cultist, the one that flips. And pretty much I run the spirit cards and so on, just a bunch of humans, the neglecting Oraloom to get it on, and
The lieutenants as well that
the
put
lieutenants
counters
that
on your
pump.
humans.
And the harvest hand. I mean, most of the werewolves start off as humans, so you're not so concerned about them flipping. You actually would prefer them to stay humans. Especially, the Hinterland Harbor is not the best one. The best one was the Duskwash Recruiter, because it allows you to get more human into play with its ability, the 3-cost ability, so you can get your humans back in your hand and all the garbage back on the bottom of your library.
What about you, Nick?
So I was playing the black-red vampires deck. So the idea is it's an aggressive deck with discard. Oh, sorry, I'm upside down. With discard outlets and madness cards. So if we want to put them, together, you have the discard cards such as Arrow of Falcon Wrath or Mark of Dread Knight. Murder's Axe is really good as well. So they're all cards that let you discard cards to gain effects. But then usually you lose the cards, but with Madness cards, you can discard them, and then usually you get a discount on the price of casting the card, or you just get to cast it even though you discarded it. So that's the idea. It's supposed to be an aggressive deck, and you're supposed to leverage your Madness cards. It just kind of didn't line up in most of my games. I ended up having too many discarders or too many Madness cards without being able to enable them. Some of them are very expensive. For example, like this one, you're paying 5 mana for a 3/5. It's just like not the greatest rate, but once you get to pay 3 mana for it, it becomes awesome. You're basically getting an extra 2 toughness for free, which is very good. It just has to line up, otherwise you're kind of a mediocre aggressive deck, so it didn't work out this round.
I find they had a good balance of like support, which is just a really crazily aggressive deck. We just went full of like a balance of aggressive on both sides instead of focusing on control.
Yeah, our plan was just to basically get them dead very fast. When we kind of didn't draw the right cards, it just stopped and we ran out of steam. Like aggressive decks do. It's just, that's the game you play. So there you go.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations getting to the top table, and have a great remainder of the Shadows over Innistrad pre-release.
Thank you.